Alright, today is the first day in probably a week where we have blue skies again. Like the whole week was just completely dull and lifeless everything, so I had a very hard time going out and shoot with the camera. But today is different, so I'm making use of the light. After quite a long hike, I just came across this beautiful scene over here in the forest. It's not even that interesting in and of itself, but what makes the whole scenery is the light. So that's what I'm out here today, that's what I was hoping to capture, light. The sun is coming right over from this direction, so it's perfectly lighting up my scene over here. And then we have this beautiful dappled light because there's so many trees behind me, so it's kind of like splitting the light. There's like light, shade, and everything, and that's what I'm trying to capture on the scene right over here. Apart from the light, my scene over here is quite symmetrical, just because we have two biggest trees which are on the left end and the right end of this group of pine trees, which just is a nice cutoff and makes it quite balanced throughout my frame. I'm zoomed in quite a good amount, just because on the right hand side of me there's a tree which is beautifully lit up, but if I were to include that in my frame it would just be completely distracting, just because I have a dappled light on the main trees which I want to photograph, and then this one's completely in light, so it's just so much more luminosity, it's so much brighter, it would just take away from the whole image. Even though it would look quite cool, and again it would still be a balanced frame. Yeah, but there's no way. I'm just trying one more thing. I just switched to a vertical composition. So because the light is so beautiful, it's very hard to describe, but it looks incredibly immersive and three-dimensional and makes it very haptic. I really hope it comes across in the final image, but man, this light is amazing. That's so beautiful. So have a look for yourself. Yeah, this is great. When you had like a whole week of dull and flat conditions and no sunlight whatsoever, and then if the first day the sun is out, you have blue skies, life just gets a whole lot better this way. And this goes especially for photography, because the light can make such a difference and you can basically create a whole image that otherwise wouldn't be there, as we've seen with the first image. So I'm really enjoying this hike over here. Let's see what else this beautiful day has to offer. Alright, next composition is gonna be really creative, so have a look at that over here. So first of all, the environment over here, just all of these stumps going on forever. It looks like an infinity forest. So that's quite interesting, and I thought already maybe I can work something out of that and compose a lot of trees, but that's quite difficult. Then, while walking on the way, over there you can see these light rays in between these trees, and that's when I thought, let's try and compose that together. So just like the previous image, this one could work well in color as well as in black and white. So there's a group of trees which is quite close to me, and I'm using that as a main interest to this image. They are on a beautiful slow curvature, which helps with the visual flow of the image. And then as you move towards the middle ground, or a little bit to the background maybe of the image, then you have these light rays just passing through over the ground and in between the trees and everything. So I kind of have a side view onto that, which makes it quite interesting. And then the rest of the image in between and background, everything is just infinity stumps and stumps and stumps going on forever. So I do really like all of these brown dead leaves over here on the ground. That gives some texture and something to feel onto this image. So that's in terms of the color version. If I switch over to black and white, it's mostly about the contrast and the shapes. What is happening with this composition is that even though I have some sky in the background, there are so many single small sticks in the far distance that the sky basically has no visual impact on the image. Shooting this image at f9, just because I want the main group and the main interest of trees in the foreground to be all sharp, and then the focus can just softly fade off into the distance. So my goal for today is to make the most out of the sunlight that we do have today. Because if I'm unlucky, it might very well take a couple more days or even a week until we're gonna see sunlight again. So yeah, fingers crossed that that's not gonna happen, but it might. So let's make something out of that. If you do like my images, I have presets available which are specifically designed for moody woodland images. So specifically for this time of the year when you're not having too much sunlight, they are really great to give your images a very moody and dramatic atmospheric look. It's a top link in the description, definitely check this out. If you do want to learn more about the process of creating these images, I have a course available and I teach you everything you need to know about landscape photography, being out in the field, settings of your camera, post-processing, everything there is to know to start out. Definitely give it a look. Well, I think this might just be the end of the forest. Alright, found one more thing. I brought out a long lens and we are kind of like in an open area now, wide fields, and so I'm photographing this group of trees and they are so interesting. It's like dead old trees, there are barely any leaves on there, and they just have this very dead and old character to them. And then these trees are catching the last bit of light because it's only going to last a couple more minutes until they're going to be in shade. So yeah, capturing that over there. Such a gnarly composition of trees. So I do quite like that these trees are catching warm sunlight, which is more and more transitioning into like golden hour. It's probably going to happen in like a couple of minutes because the field, which is right in front of me, I've included that a little bit into the foreground. That's already in shade, but it still has a very prominent and beautiful green color. So that makes the trees just stick out so much more. Don't really know what more to say about this image. I think it speaks for itself. I hope you enjoyed this video. Like, share, subscribe, and definitely click the bell so you get a notification every time I upload a new video. Make sure to check out the presets, and if you want to see more of my videos, I have an on location playlist in the description where you can see all of my videos of being out in the field. So thank you for the support and see you in the next one.